Hello and welcome to the Channel One Newsroom from our studios. And number 5, Ola Hanselina Tessano coming up. Cocoa farmers reject farm inputs worth $100 million over quality concerns.
The farmers cannot carry them, and as a result of that, they brought them to the warehouses and they are lying fallow, nothing from them.
Minority in Parliament demands refund of over 130 million cedis collected from applicants who failed to qualify to security services recruitment.
We demand the government must refund the application fees of 220 cedis per application form to all applicants who were disqualified.
Residents of Bentum in the Central Region living in fear following reports of ritual killings in the area.
As a boy was in a shortcut, we are Bobrebia, Enfra, and the say a man ombremu, now one more Tisano, Omu and one. If between a point, we much romo. Nay investigate you among a quite more fast war, maintain one, a sense of ma, Yakumo.
And later, 14 months without pay, the plight of newly recruited teachers in the country.
Nurses and teachers were recruited around the same time in 2023 and 2024. As we speak, all the nurses has been put on scale, and the current Minister for Finance issued this letter just this February, signed by himself, Dr. Castle Atuforsin, detailing to the Controller and Accountant General.
And in Channel One Business. Government orders crackdown on unlicensed courier services starting April 1, 2026. And later in Channel One Sports. Former Black Stars using us this evening. I am Akosia Oche. Let's start off the bulletin from the Central Region, where residents of Bentum in the Ewutu-Senya district say they are living in fear following a suspected ritual killing in the area. All the concerns follow the arrest of a spiritualist in connection with the killing of a woman believed to be his girlfriend. Channel One News' Central Regional correspondent Akwesi Ado reports.
Eyewitnesses say parts of the woman's body were discovered after police escorted the suspect, identified as Holeli Alatusa, to his farm, where he is believed to have committed the crime. The deceased, whose identity is yet to be confirmed, was reportedly last seen with the suspect before she went missing. Residents say a foul smell from the suspect's farm prompted neighbors to alert the police, leading to the discovery of the remains. Following the incident, some angry residents of the Ewutu-Bentum community demolished the suspect's family house.
Any evidence I able to me the IJBB.
There were free mononym war chromoha.
Ye nimuno on Fikromoha. Few people no more who were around. Say we came Saturday no, until Sunday na you ain't.
Some residents say the incident has heightened fears in the area, citing another recent case in a nearby community where the remains of a newborn baby were found with some body parts missing.
Young way and so no, and sign ye and one was about no boat to me. Sonny say, Oya Colabia, Naswadi. Odikandi, Aqualabi koi, Abe more bikoi. Sanka, Sanyan Kumadui or Quakoye. But Nam say, boy, no so no hoarding Cakrantino, went to me Takano, and a jar on any beefy.
Or Koya boy Bakubi. I'm fat when we are being to Australia or if you Omokanya by way the physical, we turn the penalty.
The chief of Awutu Bentum, Nai Bentum III, in an interview with Channel 1 News, is appealing to authorities to strengthen security in the community.
Last week, na meeting say, obuso wuni ban so, owo no so, okupia the TDF so. Na nje say, I'm for the next 2 towns from here. For IGP, T and Can, na say boys be a mabukuru mo a, omo na mo na omo yedwuma bia no, yanhwehwe omo. And that boy in question, I desperate for power. I so opportunity be. Now somebody, as a boy was in a shortcut via Bobrebia, Enfra. And the say, a man ombremu, now 1 more Tisano, Omu and another one. If you appointed point to be much romo, they investigate you a million, quite a more fast war, maintain one, a sense of ma, Yakumo 2, we are not safe.
He is also calling for the installation of street lights, particularly along the main road linking the community to neighboring areas, to improve visibility at night.
The main catcher and penny for another stakeholders and a DC particular, as I'm son of her. Say, I'm on a number a Utubentum and my mona, in street light, no, especially a quanus wa a ban, a few sadisa. Majority says, street light in a year, Juma.
This is the residence of the suspect, now in complete ruins after it came under attack by some angry members of this community. Traditional leaders are calling on the police to intensify their operations here in the area. For the Channel 1 Newsroom, I am Akwesiado, Bentum, Central Region.
Let's still stay on matters relating to security, and the Savannah Regional Peace Council has clarified that the recent violent incidents in parts of the Savannah region, which have claimed 7 lives and displaced several residents, are not connected to the Gbenyiri crisis recorded in August 2025. In a statement issued on Thursday, the council explained that the attacks occurred in Gbenyiri and Fofoso, but stressed that preliminary information does not link the events to earlier disturbances that rocked the area last year. The council is also calling on security agencies to intensify investigations into the robberies to strengthen protection for vulnerable communities and ensure that those responsible are brought to justice. Away from that, let's take you to Parliament, where the minority is demanding a refund of the 130 million cedis accrued from applicants who failed to qualify for the security service recruitment. While addressing journalists, the ranking member on the Defense Committee, Reverend John Intimfojo, accused the government of exploiting applicants in the recruitment, hence the need for a probe into the matter.
Following the disclosure by the Minister for the Interior, Mohammed Mubarak Muntaka, that over 500,000 applications were received for enlistment into the various security agencies, where only 5,000 positions are available, the Minority Caucus on Thursday addressed journalists calling on the government to refund an amount of 113 million Ghana cedis to applicants who failed to qualify for recruitment into the security service.
There must be an independent bipartisan probe into the entire centralized recruitment process for immediate and appropriate review before we continue. And number 2, very, very importantly, responding to the plight of the 500,000 potential recruits who have been scammed, we demand the government must refund the application fees of 220 cedis per application form to all applicants who were disqualified through knocked out technology constraints, who were disqualified not because they did not qualify, but because of the problematic nature of the aptitude tests by the questionable recruitment process. They must all be restored to every amount they lost.
While reacting to a statement on the shortage of health professionals across the country, the Member of Parliament for Damongo Samuel Jinapo bemoaned the government's delay in the payment of the 14-month salary of nurses.
Singapore recently expanded its list of recognized foreign medical degree programs from 112 to 120 institutions to help address doctor shortage and meet growing health demands. Ghana could consider a similar policy to ease our physician gap whilst we continue to strengthen local training capacity. We must improve working conditions, ensure fair, timely compensation, provide rural incentive, and strengthen mental support for health professionals who work in Ghana.
Nurses in the public service of our country, nurses who have been recruited, have not been paid salary for 14 months. If we are going to build a robust public health system for our country, these are matters we have to prioritize, where when nurses are recruited, they are paid. Not only do we have 13,500 nurses who have been trained, equipped, ready, and willing to work, not being recruited, but even those who have been recruited, 14,000 of them, a good number of them are working as we speak, and yet for 14 months they've been working and they've not been paid.
13,500 nurses were employed before the NDC came to power, and they were not paid. As we speak now, they have been kept on pay. They are being paid now as we speak. So that is not correct.
On the floor of Parliament, the MP for Kwando, Sebastian Day, called on the government to support smallholder farmers in the country.
They play a vital role in ensuring food security, reducing rural poverty, and supporting our overall economic development. However, smallholder farmers face numerous challenges, including limited access to finance, inadequate extension services, poor market linkages, climate change, and post-harvest losses. Mr. Speaker, addressing these challenges holistically is necessary if we are to achieve food sufficiency and sustainable rural development in our country.
Hundreds of farm tools and digital weighing scales purchased for cocoa farmers have been rejected and left unused, and this is according to officials of the Ghana Cocoa Board. Now, the items including pruners, slashers, and weighing equipment were procured at a combined cost of about $200 million under the previous administration, but have since been abandoned after farmers said they were not fit for purpose. Channel 1 News' Eastern Regional Correspondent Neoni Amate Kanaku reports.
Members of the Cocoa Board, together with technical staff and the Eastern Regional Minister Rita Akusia-Jay-Awate, began their tour at the Cocoa Board warehouse in Bososo in the Fantiakwa South District. There, the team found dozens of boxes filled with pruners and slashers procured for cocoa farmers but now left unused. The Deputy Chief Executive in charge of operations at Cocoa Board, Dr. James Kofi Kuchiati, told the board chairman that the tools, which cost about $100 million, had been abandoned since they were supplied. He also revealed that digital weighing scales purchased under the previous administration at another cost of $100 million had been rejected by farmers who said the equipment did not meet their needs.
The farmers cannot carry them, and as a result of that, they brought them to the warehouses and they are lying fallow, not fit for purpose. Initial ones, I was told, were shorter and could not even get to the top to prune. So then they recommended they should bring a longer pole, and these are the longer ones that came in and were heavy, very heavy for the farmers to carry on their backs. So we've kept them here.
The team later visited a 42-acre cocoa plantation belonging to award-winning farmer Abraham Kweku Edusei, where they met cocoa farmers from Ebuakwa North Municipality and Fantiakwa South District. Dr. Ofosu Ampofu also reaffirmed Cocoa Board's commitment to supporting farmers despite ongoing challenges in the sector. He announced that more than 27,000 motorized spraying machines and 89,000 sets of personal protective equipment would soon be distributed to cocoa farmers across the country.
Cocoa Board, I had to say, in spite of all the challenges I want, all the interventions I had to work cocoa farmers, because why? In fact, you better supply free fertilizer, you better supply free insecticide. you procure 27,000 spraying machine, motorized spraying machines. They break your phone. Now, over there,
Cocoa has been the backbone of Ghana's economy for some time now. But in the last couple of months, it's come under a number of challenges in the sector. Cocoa Board says it has no control over the world market price, but despite these challenges, it remains committed to ensuring that it supports the Ghanaian cocoa farmer throughout these challenges. For Channel 1 TV, Neil Ni Amate Kanaku, Mosiaso, Etiwa East, Eastern Region.
For more on this, we are joined via the telephone by Offensive South Member of Parliament and also the ranking member on Food and Agriculture Committee, Isaac Yao Opoko. Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Many thanks for joining us this evening. What is your initial reaction to this revelation just coming in by Cocoa Board?
That's is it about the...
Yes, the fact that these equipment that were purchased for farmers is now being, revealed that they were not fit for purpose and they have not been used.
Well, I'm surprised. I don't know where the information is coming from. Is it coming from the farmers themselves, or is it coming from management of Ghana Cocoa Board?
Right, the management...
Remember, these equipments were procured way back in 2019. So 6 years down the line, I don't know whether the farmers have used them and they have found that they are unsuitable for, the purpose, or they have not been used at all. Some of them, they require some technical know-how. The farmers themselves cannot operate them, so they need, some technicians to operate those machines for them, especially the pruners. So I don't know where the information is actually coming from. Is this from the farmers themselves?
Okay, so for purposes of clarity, this information is coming in from the management of Ghana Cocoa Board, and they are citing information that they have gotten from the cocoa farmers.
So we need to get a comprehensive report, details of those reports to see what the actual challenges are. Because these equipments, as you indicated in your report, they were procured way back in 2019. So have they been used and found not suitable, or they have not been used at all? That is, what I need to know.
Okay, so information that we got is that some of these equipment were used and some were not.
So why were they not used? Because I know they were distributed to the cooperatives, and we haven't had any complaint until recently. So is it the situation that the farmers have not found it useful, or it is not fit for purpose, or they have used them and they are not efficient? We need to know the details. The purpose of these equipment, the slashers and the pruners, were to remove the drudgery that the farmers were going through. If it comes to brushing of cocoa farm, for example, a farmer could take more than a week to brush an acre. But with the slashers, it could take you less than a day to brush a hectare. So I don't know whether the farmers themselves are unable to use the equipment, or the equipment are not efficient, they are fragile. We need to know the details.
Okay.
If you just say they are not fit for purpose, it's very difficult to comprehend what exactly, Cocoa Board management is talking about.
So as a member of the ranking member on the Food and Agriculture Committee, this means that this information is coming to you?
We'll invite Cocoa Board management, and do our own investigation. It's important. I'll file a question as well, and then we'll also invite the chief executive and his team to come and explain. Right. So once we know the details, then we can take it up.
Duly noted.
But I'm surprised if you look at the other item, the weighing scale, the digital weighing scale. The farmers don't use them themselves. It's used by the purchasing clerks. So I'm surprised that the report says farmers rejected them, because farmers don't use weighing scales. The weighing scales are used by the licensed buying companies, the purchasing clerks. And remember, farmers were complaining that some unscrupulous licensed buying companies, some purchasing clerks, were adjusting the scales, some up to 5, 6, 7 kilos, per bag of 64 kilograms. So it was a decision to try and address that concern. So I don't know where this complaint is coming from, and indeed it cannot come from the farmers. It can only come from the licensed buying companies. But again, we need to investigate.
Okay, while we wait for you to, mention this on the floor of Parliament and the subsequent meeting with the Cocoa Board on this, what is the standard practice for equipment to be declared unfit? Is it based on, solely farmers' feedback, or Cocoa Board should,
That is no. You see, the procedure is that, a supplier, a prospective supplier would write to Cocoa Board chief executive. Normally, it is through the deputy chief executive, agronomy and quality control. Then you submit sample of whatever you need to supply to Cocoa Board. Then the sample will be sent to Cocoa Research Institute for testing. So Cocoa Research Institute will do all the examination, all the tests, and make appropriate recommendation to Cocoa Board. Then Cocoa Board will purchase and distribute to cocoa farmers. So after every season, at the end of every season, Cocoa Research would also go around. Cocoa Research and staff of Cocoa Board would go around cocoa farms and interview farmers to find out about the suitability of those equipment. It's not only equipment, chemicals, fertilizers, and what have you. So that is the practice. So they would submit their report about the efficacy or efficiency of the equipment or the chemicals. So that is the procedure.
All right. Thank you very much for speaking to us this evening. That was MP.
So as soon as our meeting with the chief executive is done, we'll let you know.
All right, thank you. We'll be looking forward to that meeting. But that was Isaac Opoku, the Offensive South Member of Parliament and ranking member on the Food and Agriculture Committee of Parliament. Now, the Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwakye-Ofosu, has clarified that the government does not cover maintenance or servicing costs for the private jet owned by Ibrahim Mahama and used by his brother, President John Mahama, for some official trips. Or the minority had raised issues about the president's use of the jet for his official trips. According to Felix Kwakye-Ofosu, the responsibility for maintaining the aircraft, including payment of the pilot and other crew members, rests solely with its owner, while the state only covers operational expenses such as fuel and landing charges when the president uses the jets for official travel. Also speaking to Channel One News, Felix Kwakye-Ofosu explained that the arrangement helps the government avoid the higher costs associated with chartering an aircraft for presidential trips.
The presidential jet currently has safety issues. The Ghana Air Force itself has made it known to government officially through official communication that given the frequent breakdown of the presidential jet and its unreliability and the problems it poses for operational efficiency, they would much prefer that government acquires a new presidential jet together with other equipment for the Air Force. Now, government heeded our advice and put before Parliament an agreement to procure the third jet. Parliament approved and the process has begun for the procurement of that jet together with other aircraft. Indeed, only recently the first helicopter in that series of purchases arrived. But in between the time that the agreement was approved and the time that aircraft will arrive, there's a need for the president to travel. So the president simply thought that rather than spend the taxpayers' money renting aircraft, he has a brother who has an aircraft that he had been using even when he was in opposition. That aircraft is available, and beyond fueling it and other charges which do not necessitate paying for its rental, it is fit for purpose and it can be used. And therefore, if that aircraft is available and it will not cost the taxpayer tens of thousands of dollars an hour to rent it, the president thinks that it is a prudent thing to use as he waits for the more permanent solution of the new aircraft. So that is really what it is. So the president is only saving the public purse and avoiding a situation where he has to pay considerable amounts of money to use rented aircraft.
Our newly recruited teachers say they are owed up to 14 months of salary arrears, even as the Ghana Education Service warns staff against picketing over the delays. Here's a report by Ni Okai-Setre, read by Sarah Pia.
The Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana says teachers employed in September 2023 and 2024 have either not been placed on the government payroll or are yet to receive their salary arrears. Speaking at a press conference, the association's president, Ken Ali Awudu, described the situation as troubling, particularly as the government has already announced a timeline for paying nurses recruited around the same period.
Nurses and teachers were recruited around the same time in 2023 and 2024. As we speak, all the nurses has been put on scale, and the current Minister for Finance issued this letter just this February, signed by himself, Dr. Castle Atuforsin, detailing to the Controller and Accountant General how the 11 months arrears of the nurses should be paid, and that 2 months should be paid in April this year, 2026, 3 months should be paid in May 2026, 3 months in June 2026, and another 3 months in July 2026. Why is it that, as for the teachers, nobody is giving them a clue as to how they are going to get their 10 months to 14 months arrears?
His comments follow a directive issued on 9th March by the Ghana Education Service urging staff to use appropriate channels to address their grievances instead of picketing or protesting during working hours. The service warned that teachers who ignore the directive could face disciplinary sanctions. Responding to claims that the affected teachers were recruited without financial clearance, King Ali Awudu presented documents which he says show the recruitment had approval. He said, although the initial clearance expired after a few months, it has since been renewed under the current administration.
Financial credit was given to the Ghana Education Service was expired. The Ghana Education Service in 2024 could not finish recruiting the entire batch of teachers that the financial clearance grants, and the financial clearance expired. But that financial clearance has been renewed in 2025 under this current government.
Let's do some politics now. And the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, Justin Frimpong-Kodia, has assured party members that the introduction of an online registration platform will not allow political opponents to infiltrate the party's register and participate in its internal elections. There is more in the following report by Channel One News' Hansen Ajaman.
The platform was introduced to address challenges faced by some Ghanaians who are willing to join the party but are unable to register at their respective polling stations due to time constraints. Speaking at a press briefing, Justin Frimpong-Kodia said that although the registration system is open to all, safeguards will be put in place to ensure that only verified party members can vote and stand for positions in internal elections.
For the registration, every Ghanaian has the right to register to become a member of the New Patriotic Party. So even therefore, if Chairman Siedu Ketia wants to register to become a member of the NPP because he has realized the government is not performing and has disappointed many Ghanaians, he will be allowed, just like any other NDC member, to register because they might have seen the light. But however, to qualify to vote and to contest, certainly there will be verification.
He also announced that in response to concerns about attempts by some party executives to take control of the registration process, physical registration at polling stations will take place on weekends throughout March.
Every constituency in the 276 constituencies, to avoid the issue of anxiety and people complaining of lack of knowledge and notice, they are directed that every Saturday and Sunday, every constituency or polling stations are supposed to hold what's referred to as polling station meetings.
The New Patriotic Party says registering its members before the internal elections is key towards its reorganization for 2028 reason for the online registration platform as a response to challenges that were counted in the first week of the registration process. Reporting for Channel One News, Hansen Ajiman.
You're watching the Channel One Newsroom on Channel One Television. When we come back.
Is colorectal cancer awareness month.
Are you aged 45 years and over and or noticed blood in your stool and have a family history of cancer? Then don't hesitate to have a colonoscopy. Early detection of cancer and effective treatment saves lives. Visit us or call us on 0244 581 541 or 0271 054 204. Mintuba Hospital. In to serve a peculiar health need.
The Ghana Exim Bank is 10 years old. Hooray! And to commemorate this milestone, the Ghana Exim Bank is hosting a two-day international conference on the theme, A Decade of Enabling Export Trade and Industrial Transformation, Resetting GEXIM for the Next Frontier. The event takes place on the 25th to 26th of March at the Kempinski Hotel, Gold Coast City, 8 a.m. each day. President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will perform the official opening of the conference. Special guest and speaker, Honorable Elizabeth Ofoswejari, Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. Conference host is Honorable Sylvester Adina Mensah, Chief Executive of the Ghana Exim Bank. For inquiries, call 0208-541-480 or visit eximbankghana.com/conference to register. Media partners, Daily Graphic, Media General, The Multimedia Group, City FM, Radio Gold and Channel One TV. And knowledge partners include IFC and SME Finance Forum.
The Channel One Newsroom with Channel One TV. When we come back, Channel One Business is up next with Natalie Ajaho. Natalie, good evening to you.
Good evening,
You're welcome. You're looking good.
Thank you. You too.
Please take it away.
Okay, let's get straight to our stories. And government has directed the Postal and Courier Services Regulatory Commission to begin a nationwide crackdown on unlicensed and unregulated courier services effective April 1 this year. The directive follows the launch of the Integrated Courier and Logistics Management System, a digital platform designed to regulate the courier and logistics sector and support the growth of the country's e-commerce ecosystem. There's more in the following report.
Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations, Samuel Nate George, announced the move at the launch of the platform, noting that sector players no longer have an excuse after the earlier intervention in August 2025 that temporarily halted enforcement actions. He said players in the sector have a 19-day grace period to register and onboard onto the ICOMS Ghana platform before the nationwide enforcement begins.
Once we've launched the ICOMS today, the grace period runs from today, 12th of March, until 31st of March 2026. All existing courier companies have that same period to onboard and integrate their systems with ICOM's digital platform. If you fail to do that, it will attract regulatory sanctions. And so, Executive Secretary, from the 1st of April 2026, you have the full mandate of the ministry to work with law enforcement, Ghana Police Service, to begin a nationwide crackdown on all defaulters. And on this one, I make you a solemn pledge. I will not intervene, and there will be no moratorium. So please comply.
For the Postal and Courier Services Regulatory Commission, it is urging the public to refrain from engaging the services of unlicensed operators.
For the consuming public, you are about 90% of the tools we can use for enforcement. If you decide that you will not engage an illegal operator to deliver your parcel, all the illegal operators will do the right thing by coming to register.
Economist Professor Peter Quartz is urging the Bank of Ghana to maintain the current monetary policy rate, warning that escalating tensions in the Middle East could trigger fresh economic volatility. His comments come as the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank prepares to hold its regular meeting somewhere next week to assess recent developments in the Ghanaian economy. There's more in this report.
With the United States, Israel and Iran conflict showing no signs of easing, global oil markets are experiencing renewed volatility. Crude prices surged earlier amid disruptions to shipping activity around the Strait of Hormuz, a critical global oil transit route. The geopolitical tensions are also raising concerns domestically, with analysts projecting increases in fuel prices during the second pricing window of March, which begins on March 16th. While macroeconomic indicators remain positive, including inflation easing to 3.3%, former director of ICE, Professor Peter Quartz, said the Bank of Ghana should keep the policy rate unchanged at 15.50%. He was speaking to the media on the sidelines of a public lecture marking the 70th anniversary of Wesley Grammar School.
I think they'll be minded by what is happening in the Gulf, so they'll be a bit cautious. It is too early for them to reduce or increase the rates. I think it's better they maintain the rate now and look at what happens in the immediate future.
Well, the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies are being urged to ensure the taxes and fees collected from the country's informal sector translate into visible improvements for traders and small businesses. According to Nana Ekuye-Anyidoho, an associate professor at the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research of the University of Ghana, linking tax collection to tangible services will help encourage compliance and strengthen domestic revenue mobilization. This report has more details.
The authority in November last year introduced the modernized taxation system, a simplified tax regime targeted at workers in the informal economy, which accounts for nearly 80% of Ghana's labor force. The initiative is designed to streamline tax payments for traders, artisans, and small-scale service providers by removing some of the complex procedures associated with a standard tax system. Speaking after a policy dialogue on improving the efficiency of tax and fee collection in the informal sector, Professor Nana Ekuye-Anyidoho emphasized that compliance among traders is more likely when tax payments are matched with clear benefits.
We asked people, well, specifically market traders, what it would take for them to feel more comfortable about paying taxes. And let's be clear, nobody loves to pay taxes, right? But it's easier for you to pay if you feel like you will get something out of it, if you know how the taxes are being spent and so on. So what we're saying is, one, information. Let people know how much they're supposed to pay. Let them know how much you've collected. Let them know how much you have spent on what, so that they have a clear understanding of what their taxes are being used for. And then if you also see concrete things in your workspace, in the market, and they tell you this is what we use your money for, and this is how much it costs us to fix this gutter, or this is how much it costs to do this, it gives you confidence that you can see some visual representation that your money is being well used.
Now, the Ghana Airports Company Limited has terminated its fixed base operation agreement with Magdan Aviation Handling Services Limited following a prolonged dispute over unpaid license fees, rent and royalties at the Accra International Airport. The agreement signed in August 2022 allowed Magdan Aviation to provide fixed base operation services at designated areas within Terminal 1 of the airport. Under the arrangement, the company was expected to pay license fees, royalties and rent to the Ghana Airports Company Limited. However, the airport operator says Magdan Aviation began defaulting on these payments shortly after the agreement came into effect in 2022. According to the company, several attempts were made to recover the outstanding debt, but these efforts were unsuccessful. Let's now bring you an update on the current prices of crude oil and how the cedi is performing on the interbank market. And that's all for business. I am Neteli Neti Ajahu. Back to you, Akosia.
Thank you, Net, for that update from the world of business. Now to some other stories. And members of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOGSAG, say they risk losing the value of their pension benefits if government fails to implement a revised salary structure and improve conditions of service. CLOGSAG argues the government is continuously processing, and that commitments made by previous administrations must be honored to protect the welfare and retirement security of civil and local government workers. Channel 1 News' Volta regional correspondent Desmond Salasiago reports.
The Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana says the delay in implementing the revised salary structure could negatively affect pension calculations for civil and local government workers. CLOGSAG insists its nationwide strike will remain in force until government takes concrete steps to implement the agreed salary structure. Speaking to Channel 1 News, the Deputy Executive Director of CLOGSAG, William Kojo-Krakani, said the delay could have long-term implications for workers, particularly when their pension benefits are calculated upon retirement. He explained that the salary structure forms a key basis for determining pension contributions, and failure to adjust it accordingly could leave many workers worse off when they retire.
All the civil servants in the ministries and agencies are not working. If you talk about community development, social welfare, veterinary, everywhere, the regional community councils, they are not working. The no government is a continuum. If they don't pay us, our pensions will be affected. Pensioners sacrifice their small monies. The previous government, we are not going to do that. If they increase the salary to affect our pension, if they don't increase,
Mr. Krakani says the association's demand is not new, noting that the salary structure had already been discussed and agreed upon during earlier engagements with government. However, he says implementation has stalled, a situation that has compelled members of the association to embark on industrial action to press home their demands. Meanwhile, a visit to several public institutions in the whole municipality, including the whole municipal assembly, shows that service delivery has been significantly affected. Offices remain closed following the nationwide strike declared by CLOGSAG on Monday, leaving many clients unable to access essential public services. Mr. Krakani says members of the association remain resolute in their decision to withdraw their services until government demonstrates clear commitment to implementing the revised salary structure and improving the working conditions of civil and local government staff.
You are rendering services which you are vowed to render through the civil service and local government service. It is not being done first day, second day, third day. Then something is happening to the government itself. We are the government machinery, the powerhouse where government policies are engineered and implemented and executed. So it's like we are halting the services of the, and then the new government comes, you face that problem. So if Ghana government want to be serious with the people, they should implement what they're supposed to do.
CLOGSAG says it will continue with its strike until government implements its salary structure. Reporting for Channel 1 News, my name is Desmond Salasiago.
Away to the Ashanti region, ophthalmologists at the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital are raising concerns over an increase in glaucoma cases among people above the age of 30. Others say the growing numbers are worrying and are urging the public to undergo regular eye examinations for early detection and management of the disease. Our Channel 1 News' Ashanti regional correspondent Doris Nonta reports.
A consultant ophthalmologist at the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital Eye Clinic and Vice President of the Ophthalmological Society of Ghana, Dr. Akwesi Ajiman Ahmed, says the hospital's glaucoma clinic records a high number of cases, including patients who have already lost their sight. He says regular eye examinations are essential to help detect the disease early and prevent vision loss. Speaking during activities to mark World Glaucoma Awareness Week under the theme Uniting for a Glaucoma-Free World, Dr. Ahmed noted that Ghana has one of the highest prevalence rates of glaucoma. He says data suggests that about 700,000 people in the country are blind due to the condition.
In Ghana, we have about 7 to 8% of people in Ghana living with glaucoma, right? And this number is people more than 30 years old. So you can see that from 30 years, the number is significant. If you look about 7 to 8% of people living with glaucoma, you have about 700,000 people that are blind or have visual impairments from glaucoma.
Dr. Ahmed is urging the public to prioritize regular eye examinations, stressing that although glaucoma cannot be cured, it can be managed if detected early.
Glaucoma is not curable. However, glaucoma is manageable. If you check and it's detected early, maybe it will be detected when it's 90%. And then we'll start managing it so that we prevent the damage of the rest. So it's manageable but not curable.
As part of the week-long awareness campaign, the Cath Eye Center is also educating and screening drivers in the region. The initiative aims to detect vision problems early and help prevent sight-related challenges that could contribute to road accidents.
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Doris Lonta, Ashanti region.
The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union of Ghana, ICU Ghana, has pledged to continue promoting industrial harmony among labor, businesses and industry players. All the commitment follows the union's recognition at the third edition of the Ghana Development Awards, where ICU Ghana was honored for its outstanding contribution to labor rights and industrial harmony for national development. In a statement issued by the union's General Secretary, Morgan Ayawini, the union reaffirmed its resolve to keep championing workers' welfare while fostering peace and productive industrial relations. Well, this is still the Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 Television. Still to
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
It's on SuperSport all season long. Pay your subscription today. Dial *759#. Available on DSTV and GoTV.
Are you ready to revolutionize the future of agriculture? The Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, in partnership with the Ghana Exim Bank, proudly presents the Ghana Agrotech Fair 2026. The fair will feature exhibitions, market linkages, masterclasses and workshops on climate-smart farming, digital tools and export development. Join us at the Black Star Square from March 17 to March 19 at 9 a.m. each day. The President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will be assisted by the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, the Honorable Elizabeth Ofosuejari, and the Chief Executive of the Ghana Exim Bank, Honorable Sylvester Adina Mensah, to open the fair. Government agencies, agrotech firms, startups, farmers, financial institutions, and the general public are all welcome. To exhibit or for inquiries, call 0559 67 9326 or 0242 585419. Ghana Agrotech Fair 2026, transforming agribusiness through local innovation and technology.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson,
Me didn't tum. Mr. Friendly Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Friendly once now. Hey, is that you? Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the action. Me did sasso spray. Mr. Friendly sasso quell. Yeah, go to my sasso.
Come on, Tom Preco.
This is still the Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 Television. Up next is Channel 1 Sports with Bernard Abekwatri. Bernard, what team are we facing ahead of the World Cup?
Oh, we've got a number of friendlies lined up, so we've got more here.
Are you sure we're going to win? We don't want any disappointments.
Hopefully we build a stronger team.
Okay, please take yourself.
Let's get into it, shall we? Now, former Black Stars player Emmanuel Ajimambedu has expressed excitement about the number of friendly matches lined up for the Black Stars ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Black Stars will play their first friendly in 15 days against Austria on March 27 before taking on Germany's national male team on March 30 at the MHP Arena in Stuttgart. The team will also face Mexico. Away from Ajimambedu, let's move to England now. And former Arsenal left-back Ashley Cole believes the Gunners have the mentality to go all the way and win the Premier League title this season. Arsenal head into the weekend 7 points clear of Manchester City at the top of the table. However,